Apartments don't have enough parking for the people who live there. That's a complaint from several people who live in downtown Salt Lake City.
Tonight, our Matt Gephardt investigates how a new Salt Lake City policy has led to a massive spike in parking tickets and what you need to know if you're looking for a place to rent.
Tickets ticketed and towed constantly.
For Pamela Clark, trying to find a parking space anywhere near her home at the Bodhi Apartments in downtown Salt Lake City is problematic, to say the least.
By 8 o'clock at night, there's no place to park.
Do you think it was bad planning?
Yes.
Why?
Because if you plan for 80 units here and only 40 parking stalls, that's not enough.
You heard that right. The Bodhi Apartments is one of the brand new residential developments in downtown Salt Lake City. It only has 40 parking stalls, but there are 80 apartments. That leaves half of the residents, if they have cars, looking elsewhere to park. It's causing problems for the tow lot next door as well, whose owner tells me residents end up blocking his driveway. That actually prompted him to call the city, which put up new no parking signs, taking away even more parking stalls.
Where can we park without being ticketed?
Wondering why city officials would allow a new apartment to be built without providing enough parking, Pamela asked me to investigate.
What's the parking minimum for this zone?
So it's zero.
There's no minimum.
Yeah.
Okay.
Make no mistake, this is not an oversight, it is a plan. Over the past decade, Salt Lake City created a new policy. If an apartment complex was near a tracks line, the developer no longer needed to provide as much parking. People would abandon their cars, proponents argued, unclogging city streets and polluting less. Developers took advantage. In fact, our investigation found 14 new apartment complexes have gone up that have fewer parking stalls than living units. But it seems people have not simply sold off their cars. Parking tickets have soared. Around Pamela's place, we found tickets have nearly doubled since her apartment complex went in, and we found similar trends all over the city, including right here. This is the tracks line near 900 South. Lots of new apartment complexes, and tickets in this area up a whopping 400%.
Eventually, hopefully this will be a short-term issue.
I took my findings to Salt Lake City's transportation director, John Larson. He admits the policy may have gone too far.
Historically, cities have actually required too much parking, and then that unnecessarily drives up the cost of development. And so, I think the pendulum has kind of swung the other way, where we made it so that we weren't building enough parking, and now we're kind of trying to find that sweet spot.
Larson says the city plans to continue to provide more and more options for people to get around without a car. He points to not just UTA, but things like electric scooters, rental bikes, and Uber and Lyft for folks who really need a car from time to time. But until then, he says the city is rolling back its policy.
We're working to update the code so that new developments have enough parking.
And include us in the plans, yes, I agree, yes.
That may help tenants in the future, but it's no relief for Pamela and her neighbors right now. They're still stuck without anywhere convenient to legally park. In Salt Lake City, Matt Gephardt, 2 News.